Rick Harrison faced cameras in January 2024, his worn face marked with sorrow. He declared, his voice cracking, "My cherished son Adam has died from a fentanyl overdose." At 59, the Pawn Stars founder acknowledged a reality followers never anticipated. Behind the glitzy success of History Channel's top-watched program, lurked a family catastrophe that would always impact the Harrison legacy. The real drama was off-camera, where the Harrison family enterprise was slowly collapsing under the weight of lawsuits, addiction, financial collapse, and death as millions tuned in to see rare gems and million-dollar deals. Today we are exposing the startling reality behind America's most renowned pawnshop, one the producers never intended for you to see. Few reality series have caught America's interest like Pawn Stars. Viewers have been captivated by the wheeling and dealing at the gold and silver pawn store in Las Vegas since 2009. Rick Harrison turned a tiny family firm into a worldwide sensation as the public face of this corporation. From a small pawn business to television gold, he built his life around unusual finds and incredible bargains. Until January 2011, attracting an incredible 7.6 million viewers and transforming how people saw both pawnshops and reality television, Pawn Stars had become the History Channel's crown gem. The success narrative appeared flawless, a father and son duo working with the endearing Chumlee, teaching audiences about historical items while striking smart commercial deals. It worked wonderfully. Spin-offs include Pawn Stars Do America expanded the brand's routinely ranking among History Channel's most watched programs. With around 400,000 regular viewers, it stayed the sixth most popular program on the network as recently as March 2025. But under this deliberately crafted picture of family harmony and corporate success, another reality was forming, one that may ruin what the Harrisons had created. The Harrison dynasty's first fractures showed following family patriarch Richard Harrison's death in 2018. While audiences grieved the old man on TV, behind the scenes his death set off a bitter court fight that would split the family. Claiming she was pushed into handing away her 51% ownership of the pawn store, while recovering from a major disease, Rick's mother, Joanne Harrison, sued her own son. The claims were scathing. Joanne said Rick had exploited her weak condition to seize control of the company, depriving her access to financial data, and even $500,000 in cash and silver that Richard had gathered prior to his death. The family feud soon developed into more than just a disagreement. Joanne sued to take charge of her share in the company, and insisted Rick give. The conflict was so intense that she sought a restraining order against her son, so barring him from selling or transferring family assets, demanding thorough financial papers. What viewers perceived on television as a united family front was suddenly exposed as a broken relationship tainted by charges of treachery and financial fraud. This court fight was an existential threat for a program based on the idea of familial legacy. The gold and silver pawn store struggled financially, endangering its own survival as if family strife wasn't enough. Tourism was wiped out and local companies were destroyed by the COVID-19 epidemic, which struck Las Vegas especially hard. The Harrison family's effect was disastrous. Once a successful pawn store usually producing more than $1 million in yearly income, it made only $37,000 in 2020, an astonishing 96% drop. The financial basis of the Pawn Stars empire started to collapse with less consumers and declining sales. Television success had hidden flaws in the commercial paradigm. The epidemic revealed them. Although the store had gained global notoriety, it still depended mostly on foot business from Las Vegas visitors. Profits followed suit when it ran out. Behind the scenes, Rick fought to keep the company running while coping with his mother's lawsuit and preserving the public image needed for the program. The unpleasant truth became obvious. Television celebrity did not ensure corporate stability. The gold and silver pawn store was struggling to survive like many other small companies all throughout United States. Key cast members' personal scandals only compounded the family's difficulties. 5 minutes before 5 o'clock. In 2016, when police raided his home, Chumlee, the endearing comic relief of Pawn Stars, found himself at the center of major legal issues. When police found unregistered weapons and illegal drugs, what started as an inquiry into assault claims fast grew. Chumlee was charged with several felonies including weapon infractions and drug possession. Though a plea bargain helped him to escape prison time, the event harmed his reputation greatly and tainted the family-friendly image of the program. In the public eye, Corey, Big Hoss, Harrison, Rick's son and the supposed heir to the pawnshop kingdom, fought his own issues. Witnesses said he urinated in public and tossed a bar stool across a room following severe drinking, making his conduct at a motorcycle tour stop in Jefferson City notorious. The humiliating event was only one in a string of scandals surrounding Corey, including a 2021 court fight about a damaged rental RV that allegedly needed $30,000 in repairs. These private controversies endanger Corey's reputation as a competent businessman, able to inherit the family firm. The program itself started to evolve in ways that distanced longtime fans as these real-life events played out. Early seasons of Pawn Stars were praised for their genuineness, with honest consumers bringing in unanticipated treasures, actual negotiations and informative talks about historical objects. As ratings climbed, however, stories started to surface claiming many exhibit items were pre-selected and appraisals performed in advance. Scripted storylines meant to maximize drama replaced the spontaneity that had drawn so much interest to Pawn Stars. Instead than highlight genuine pawnshop operations, the emphasis changed from historical artifacts to family strife, hence changing the instructional program into something more akin to a reality soap opera. Once sincere cast members now seemed to be performing overblown versions of themselves. Longtime watchers saw the shift and slammed the program for giving fabricated drama top priority over the genuine treasure search that had first drawn them. Although Pawn Stars kept a devoted following, the enchantment of those early seasons, the feeling that anything could happen when a consumer walked through the door, had surely dissipated. Rick Harrison's efforts to profit from the show's success by means of corporate growth produced mixed outcomes. Adjacent to the gold and silver pawn store, he opened Pawn Plaza in 2015, a retail and restaurant hub. The idea appeared reasonable: attract guests who came to view the renowned store from television and provide them other dining and shopping choices. Pawn Plaza, however, soon fell short and could not create enough foot traffic to support the companies inside. Within a few years some businesses had shut, creating empty areas and let down owners. Former renters did not depart peacefully. A few people sued Rick, alleging he had not given sufficient financial help or promotion, hence dooming their companies from the beginning. Pawn Plaza became a glaring sign of overreach, proving that television popularity does not always transfer to profitable business enterprises. The unsuccessful growth was yet another chink in the meticulously built Pawn Star image, implying that maybe the on-screen business savvy does not always translate to actual business. Even the professionals who supported the program started to cause controversy. A vintage toy expert, Johnny Jimenez Jr., was filmed apparently attacking his fiancée outside a Las Vegas restaurant. John Reznikoff made a high-profile error attributing a signature on a Godfather draft to Al Pacino when it was really producer Al Ruddy's. The controversy surrounding sports memorabilia specialist Drew Max, who was charged with certifying phony sports goods later auctioned off, was most harmful. These events cast doubt on the educational value of the program, and made viewers wonder how far they could rely on the data shown as reality. Notwithstanding these difficulties, Pawn Stars has made a lasting impression on popular culture. It changed reality television, transforming how people see pawnshops and motivating many copycats. Many Americans linked pawn companies with desperation and unethical behavior before the performance. Pawn Stars changed that view by showing pawning as a genuine company rich in history, negotiating abilities, and hidden treasures, drawing visitors from all over the world wanting to see Rick, Corey or Chumlee in action. The gold and silver pawn store turned into a tourist attraction. When Rick's son Adam died from a fentanyl overdose at only 39 years old, the Harrison family confronted their worst loss in January 2024. Though Adam wasn't especially visible on the program, his death exposed the heartbreaking emotional battles behind the camera. Rick's public sorrow served as a reminder to people that despite celebrity and money, the Harrisons suffered the same terrible losses as any other family. Adam's fentanyl overdose linked the Harrisons to the continuing drug epidemic in America, so highlighting a sad truth for the millions of viewers of the program. What then is the actual legacy of this legendary program as Pawn Stars runs on television? Is it the knowledge benefit of studying historical items, the pleasure of seeing expert negotiations, or is it the cautionary story of how fame could strain family ties and corporate running? Maybe it's all of these, a complicated mix of real knowledge and created drama, of commercial achievement and personal failure, of public identities and inner struggles. The reality of Pawn Stars is that behind every million-dollar transaction and historical treasure sits a family struggling with the same issues that impact us all. sickness, loss, addiction, legal issues and financial concerns. Their narrative's true worth is not in the vintage automobiles or unusual coins that come through their store, but rather in the lesson that even people who hit television gold are not free from the most severe reality of life. One thing stays evident as Rick Harrison rebuilds from personal tragedy, legal issues and corporate losses. In both pawn stores and in life, what seems to be value on the surface is not always what really matters in the end. The question now is whether the Harrison legacy will be characterized by what they accomplished together, or what broke apart when the cameras were not rolling. Subscript points. 4 Undiscovered Tales.